It starts in silence. A blur of motion, a scream cut off mid-breath, then the sound of static. That's the first 3 seconds of a clip the internet will never forget. No context, no names, just chaos framed in pixels. People said it looked fake at first, like a prank gone wrong. But then someone slowed it down, frame by frame, and saw the truth hiding in the flicker of flashlight beams. 3 friends. 1 dare. A rooftop that shouldn't have been climbed. They were chasing subscribers, chasing something to make them seen. But how far would you go to feel real when your world only exists through a lens? Who's guilty when the camera never blinks? And what if the internet, the audience, the comments, the shares, wasn't watching a tragedy unfold, but creating it? The clip still floats online, shared by strangers who weren't there that night. And every time it reappears, a question returns with it. Did the internet watch a death? Or record a sacrifice? The sound that follows isn't a scream. It's the wind. It swallows everything. The heartbeat, the panic, the silence after something irreversible. Maya drops to her knees, staring at the edge, her hands shaking as Eli backs away, camera still rolling out of habit. In shock, they speak without words. Faces pale, breaths short. The city below goes on. Cars moving, horns echoing, unaware. When Maya looks at her phone, the live stream is still running. Comments pour in. Was that real? Fake. The hearts keep rising. She fumbles to end it, but the button doesn't respond. It's as if the internet won't let her stop. They never called 911. Not right away. Fear and disbelief wrapped around them like fog. Maya whispered, "It wasn't supposed to happen." Eli stared at the camera, the little red dot still glowing, and shut it off. The silence that followed was heavier than any scream. Down below, distant sirens started to rise, faint but inevitable. In that moment, Eli made a choice. He'd delete everything. But Maya stopped him. "We need to show what happened," she said, tears streaking her face. "People will twist it if we don't." She didn't know the irony, that it was already too late. The internet doesn't wait for permission. Hours later, the clip appeared on a subreddit called Our Night Shift Fails. Nobody knew who uploaded it first. Some said it was scraped from the live feed. Others blamed hackers, trolls, even Maya herself. By sunrise, it had 500,000 views and its own conspiracy thread. Users dissected every frame, slowing down the moment Zoe leans forward, debating whether she slipped or jumped. Someone added eerie background music. Someone else posted a meme. The tragedy became entertainment in record time. Eli woke to a dozen notifications, his own username tagged beneath comments that read, "You monster." By the time the police arrived, the internet had already done its job. The clip was mirrored on dozens of channels, each with different titles. Rooftop dare gone wrong. Girl dies for views. Proof she was pushed. Maya's face became a thumbnail, her fear frozen forever. Eli watched a live stream where strangers debated her guilt like it was a game. A comment read, "She's faking the tears. That's acting." Another, "She deserves it." The footage was out of their hands now. Reshared, remixed, reimagined. Somewhere out there, someone pressed play again. And in the darkness of that replay, the story started over. Morning headlines hit like aftershocks. Influencer dare ends in death. Live stream horror. Millions watch tragedy unfold. The video's thumbnail spreads across every platform, each outlet twisting the story differently. Maya sits on her apartment floor, wrapped in silence, her phone vibrating nonstop. Messages from strangers, brands pulling sponsorships, friends distancing themselves. Eli watches from across the room, unable to speak. The clip replays on TV behind them, muted, looping endlessly like a curse. They both know that in the eyes of the world, They aren't people anymore. They're content. What once promised fame now delivers infamy, and every second online rewrites who they are. The internet turned them into suspects before the police ever did. Comment sections filled with self-proclaimed detectives dissecting their every word, every pause, every blink. One slowed down a clip of Maya crying and wrote, "See? No tears. She's acting." Another zoomed in on Eli's face mid-scream and said, "He pushed her." Theories multiplied faster than facts. In forums and live streams, people reenacted the fall, laughing. The real investigation couldn't keep up. Detective Harper watched the chaos unfold, jaw clenched, realizing that by the time he found the truth, the world might not care anymore. Maya tried to tell her side. She uploaded a video called "The Truth About That Night." It began softly, her voice trembling, her eyes red. She said it was an accident, that they were scared kids trying to make something meaningful. But the internet didn't want truth. It wanted blood. Within hours, reaction videos dissected her every sentence, thumbnails screaming "liar" in bold red text. The more she spoke, the worse it got. Algorithms rewarded outrage, pushing the angriest clips higher. By midnight, her video was buried under edits mocking her tone, her tears, her breathing. It wasn't Maya's story anymore. It was a performance she no longer controlled. Eli disappeared offline. He deleted every account, every trace of his name. But it didn't matter. His face had already become a meme. The cameraman who filmed death. Teenagers lip-synced his scream on TikTok. Someone used AI to recreate his voice, making him confess to murder in a deep fake that went viral overnight. When he tried to tell the police, they showed him the clip and asked if it was him. He didn't know what to say anymore. Maybe the internet didn't just take Zoe's life. Maybe it was slowly taking theirs too, frame by frame, comment by comment. A week after the accident, Zoe's funeral streamed online. The comments section was locked, but that didn't stop people from recording it, re-uploading it, adding dramatic music, and labeling it. The final goodbye, Maya stood by the casket trembling. Her red jacket now replaced with a plain black coat. Across the street, cameras from tabloids waited, hungry for one more photo, one more tear. Harper watched from his car, taking notes. He wasn't sure who he was investigating anymore. A death, or the world's reaction to it. He wondered if truth even mattered in a place where grief could trend. The internet doesn't forget. The clip of Zoe's fall mutated into countless forms. Slow-motion horror edits, memes with mocking captions, reaction compilations with dramatic music. Even strangers who weren't alive that night felt like witnesses. Maya and Eli tried to report it, but every attempt at removal was met with mirrors, reposts, and deepfakes. Every click, every share, felt like a judgment. They were no longer the creators. They were the content, dissected by millions of eyes that didn't care about their humanity. Each repost added layers of distortion, each like a nail in a coffin that had long stopped holding their grief. Some strangers even recreated the fall in real life, filming their own rooftop stunts for views. Each video referenced Zoe. The dare became a ritual, a challenge for the thrill of virality. Comments congratulated or criticized the copycats, but the original tragedy remained invisible to them. Maya would scroll through these clips and recognize the movement, the laugh, the edge of the ledge. A ghost of Zoe in every frame. How could a death become a trend? How could grief be a performance? Maya's social media accounts were hacked. Fake messages spread claiming she had orchestrated Zoe's fall. Threats arrived in waves, some saying she deserved it, others promising retribution. Every time she tried to explain, the words twisted into accusations. Even Eli, protective and careful, found himself haunted by digital phantoms. Every ping of a notification, a reminder that the world had replaced empathy with entertainment. It wasn't just the clip anymore. It was an endless echo of judgment. Some viewers claimed the clip contained secrets, hidden frames, coded messages, evidence of murder. Reddit threads and forums dissected every millisecond, speculating about unseen hands, dark motives, or secret scripts. Harper traced the origins of these posts, noting deepfakes, overlays, and comment bots. The original fall had become unrecognizable, a puzzle with pieces that didn't belong to reality anymore. The more the internet theorized, the more Maya and Eli felt trapped. Their lives a digital hall of mirrors reflecting every fear, every failure, every accusation. The world forgot Zoe as a person. To millions, she existed only as pixels, frames of terror, and hashtags. Maya and Eli became shadows of themselves, haunted by a loop they couldn't break. Every mention online was a reminder. Tragedy is no longer private. The dare that killed Zoe had spawned a viral curse. One that thrived on memory, distortion, and human curiosity. And somewhere far from the city, the video still circulated, waiting for the next pair of eyes to feed its hunger. Detective Harper had seen viral crimes before, but this one was different. Every repost, every meme, every deepfake blurred the line between reality and fiction. He started tracing the clip's journey, from live stream to mirror accounts, to forums where strangers debated motives as if the tragedy were scripted. Algorithms had amplified it, edited it, remixed it, and sometimes erased crucial frames. Every copy he found added or removed details. A laugh here, a scream there. Until the original fall became almost unrecognizable. The deeper he dug, the less certain he became who had actually filmed Zoe and who had rewritten history. The internet doesn't leave breadcrumbs neatly. Each repost hid the uploader's identity behind VPNs, bots, and anonymous forums. Harper noticed patterns, subtle timestamps, watermark remnants, even consistent angles hinting at who might have mirrored or manipulated the footage. It wasn't just curious teenagers spreading content. Someone was curating this chaos, crafting edits to provoke outrage. Someone was turning grief into currency. The detective realized the crime scene wasn't just the rooftop. It was the web itself. He interviewed witnesses who had tried to remove content, but the footage was everywhere. One security camera captured Zoe climbing the edge from a different angle. Another phone recorded the fall seconds later. Harper compared frames obsessively, but the differences between the sources were staggering. Each edit amplified fear, suspense, or humor, depending on the uploader. Harper realized the tragedy had been fractured into 1,000 stories, each one convincing someone else that the narrative belonged to them. And yet, the truth remained, hidden in plain sight. Deepfakes complicated everything. Harper discovered a version of Zoe smiling just before the fall, artificially inserted, and even fake commentary from Maya and Eli stitched in. Some clips suggested intent where there was none. Others implied rescue attempts that never happened. The detective realized the clip had evolved into a digital monster, one that could accuse, absolve, and terrorize at will. In this ecosystem, innocence was optional, and facts were expendable. For Harper, the most disturbing discovery was how quickly the public believed fiction over reality. Every distorted clip that went viral created a layer of social proof. If millions watched it, it must be true. Even evidence he brought to the media was questioned. The internet had already decided what happened, and the law seemed powerless against algorithms and human curiosity. Harper realized that in the digital age, a video isn't just a recording. It's a weapon, a judge, and sometimes a replacement for memory itself. Months later, Maya reappeared online. Not as the scared girl from the rooftop, but as someone determined to speak, to show the world her truth. She posted a video titled, "My Story, My Fault, My Truth." Her words were raw, halting, tremulous. She admitted fear, panic, and mistakes. She begged viewers to understand. Grief doesn't look good in thumbnails, but the internet had already grown a taste for outrage. The comments were vicious, dissecting her tone, her pauses, even her clothing. For some, she was a victim. For others, she was still a villain. And for everyone, the clip was the final evidence, frozen, immortal, and impossible to ignore. As soon as Maya uploaded the video, it became fodder for reaction channels. Thousands of strangers recorded themselves reacting to her confession, analyzing every sentence, labeling every emotion. Her remorse was consumed and transformed into spectacle. She had returned to tell the truth, only to discover that honesty online could be more violent than silence. Each reaction clip was another layer of distortion, an echo chamber where grief became content, and content became morality theater. Eli watched from the shadows. He had hoped Maya would finally bring closure, but closure doesn't exist in an environment built on virality. He saw strangers remix her footage, overlaying horror sounds, adding captions that twisted her words into accusations. Every attempt to reclaim their story failed. The digital world had rewritten Zoe's death and their guilt into a narrative they could never escape. Eli realized the tragedy wasn't only in what happened on the rooftop. The real horror was what the world did with it. Maya began live-streaming her daily life, hoping to normalize herself again. But every post attracted trolls, conspiracy theorists, and strangers claimed to have insider knowledge. Every room she entered online felt surveilled, every gesture interpreted. The line between reality and performance blurred. She stopped sleeping properly, constantly checking notifications, knowing that any moment could bring another viral reminder of Zoe. The online world had turned her grief into a perpetual performance, and there was no pause button. One night, Maya received a notification she had been dreading. The original rooftop clip had resurfaced on a deep web forum, edited again, framed as the real story you'll never forget. It wasn't just a video anymore. It was a virus of memory, spreading from device to device, infecting anyone curious enough to click. She realized something terrifying. No confession, no explanation, no remorse could undo the digital resurrection of tragedy. And somewhere, Eli knew, the clip was still watching them. The world's eyes replacing Zoe's lost ones. Harper had followed every thread, every repost, every deepfake, but nothing explained the inconsistencies he kept noticing. The sound of the wind, the faint reflection on a window, the subtle tremor in Maya's hand. Some details never matched online versions. One night, he found it. A backup of the original live stream footage, untouched by editing or meme culture, buried in the cloud account Eli had forgotten to delete. As he played it, the room felt colder, the air heavier. This was real. This was unfiltered truth. Raw, unmediated, and terrifying, frame by frame. Harper watched Zoe hesitate, her balance faltering, but not as dramatically as the viral version suggested. Maya reached out instinctively, panic in her eyes. Eli's camera shook, but there was no push, no intentional harm. The original footage revealed fear, confusion, and human error. A tragic accident, nothing more. The viral edits had fabricated drama, turned hesitation into malice, and laughter into cruelty. Reality, Harper realized, had been buried under layers of obsession and digital distortion. Harper cross-referenced timestamps, shadows, and angles with the edited clips. Each alteration amplified suspense and guilt. Zoe's stumble became a fall. Maya's reach became a shove. Eli's scream became complicity. The internet had rewritten reality to match its appetite for fear. Harper realized the viral obsession wasn't just cruel. It had created a parallel history, one that millions believed. And for Maya and Eli, living in that false narrative had been worse than the rooftop itself. The revelation hit Harper hardest. This wasn't a story about villainy. Michiu, it was about obsession. The internet's hunger for drama, the speed at which a mistake could be weaponized, and the consequences when millions consume tragedy as entertainment. He realized that even though truth existed, it mattered little to those who had already decided the narrative. Zoe's death was an accident, yes, but the moral catastrophe had been happening long after the fall, in feeds, comments, and shares. Harper knew what he had to do. Preserve the truth, quietly, for anyone willing to see it. He sent the verified footage to the authorities, to archivists, to researchers, not for likes, not for clicks, but to honor what actually happened. Meanwhile, Maya and Eli still lived under the weight of viral distortions, unable to fully escape the narrative that had consumed them. Truth existed, but the world had already chosen a different story. And the original clip, the unedited moment of fear and tragedy, remained a ghost, waiting silently for the day someone might finally see it. Years later, the clip reappeared. Not on mainstream sites, not in the headlines, but in corners of the internet where few dared to go. Each view carried whispers of the past. The accident, the viral obsession, the deepfake distortions, but now framed as legend. Maya and Eli, older, weary, recognized the thumbnail instant. It wasn't just a video, it was a mirror reflecting everything they had lost, every accusation they had endured, every share that had made their grief performative. And yet for new eyes, it was just content, suspenseful, shocking, clickable. How many generations would witness tragedy as entertainment before anyone remembered the person behind the pixels? The clip had been downloaded, mirrored, shared, and remixed countless times. Some versions added ominous music, captions suggesting conspiracy, even AI voices narrating events that never happened. Zoe had become a digital ghost, her death immortalized and distorted by every person who clicked. Maya realized something terrifying. The internet doesn't just remember, it rewrites. Memory becomes mutable, grief becomes spectacle, and the dead become content. In this echo chamber, truth is optional, morality is performative, and curiosity is deadly. Some users didn't even know Zoe's name. To them, she was a thrill, a scare, a viral dare gone wrong. Comments debated whether it was staged or real. Every theory more lurid than the last. Maya and Eli scrolled in silence, witnessing how easily tragedy became entertainment for people who had no connection, no empathy, only curiosity. Each click, each replay, reminded them that the world had chosen narrative over truth, virality over humanity, and fascination over memory. Harper had archived the original footage years ago, safe from the public eye, yet even he couldn't stop the echoes. The viral versions continued to circulate, reshaped by algorithmic appetites and human curiosity. What the world remembered, what they would replay, remix, and debate, was not the accident, but the fear, the panic, the drama. Zoe's real fall had been forgotten, replaced by the collective imagination of millions who had never been there. In the digital age, memory isn't owned. It's borrowed, distorted, and sometimes weaponized. The clip is still out there somewhere. Each time someone presses play, the echo of that night grows louder. The moral is hauntingly simple. The internet doesn't just watch tragedy. It amplifies it. It questions, judges, and immortalizes long after the people involved have moved on or broken. Zoe's death, once private, now belongs to the world. And the question lingers, did the rooftop kill her? Or did the world? And somewhere deep in the algorithms, waiting for the next pair of eyes, the video waits again, patient, unstoppable, eternal.